This is only between us. Who would know about it? Dustin smiled. There are no safe secrets in this world. I can't take the risk. Samuel shook his head. Samuel had just finished speaking when a sharp clang resounded. A bloody knife suddenly fell from Dustin's waist. Samuel froze. Oh, I use this knife for self-defense. It's always better to be cautious. Dustin smiled, looking. He said, Mr. Franklin, what did you say earlier? I didn't quite catch it. Could you repeat that? The corner of Samuel's mouth twitched, and he managed a smile. If Mr. Reese is truly interested, I could offer you a bit of information. However, it would depend on how skilled you are in finding out the truth. All right, Dustin nodded. I can only tell you that on the day of Christopher Murray's birthday banquet, this person will act. Samuel lowered his voice into a whisper. Is that all? Is there anything else? Dustin asked. While speaking, he even placed the knife on the table, increasing the pressure on him. Mr. Reese, that was my last compromise. I won't be saying another word. Samuel looked grim. As one of the 3 chief envoys of the Bounty Killers, when had he ever been in such a frustrating situation? It was all thanks to that damn Simba for bringing this bad omen to their lair. All right, it's enough. Thank you, Mr. Franklin. Dustin grinned. Don't be so nervous. Aren't we friends? Even if you don't say anything, I wouldn't dare do anything to you. Samuel's eye twitched, caught between amusement and annoyance. He could have put away the knife before saying that. Mr. Franklin, it's been a pleasure working with you. Remember to let me know immediately when you have any good news. Goodbye. Dustin nodded and turned to leave. Mr. Reese, your knife. Samuel reminded him. Consider it a gift. Dustin waved his hand dismissively and left without another look back. Samuel remained seated. He let out a heavy sigh. After all his years in the world of martial arts, he had always been the one taking advantage of others. No one had ever dared to take advantage of him yet. Today, he had encountered a rogue grandmother, and there was nothing he could do about it. The next day, Dustin issued an order for all the members of the Kieran gang to return. They would no longer investigate the death of Paul Hill and stay out of the public eye. Instead, they would stay at Zephyr Lodge, keeping a low profile and not going outside. Apart from their regular training, they spent most of their time eating and drinking. There are no activities on their end. Autumn listened to reports from one of his men in one of the courtyards of the hill. Family, residents. He couldn't help but wonder aloud. Are you sure? I'm very sure. The man said seriously. We kept watch on them for the whole of yesterday. All of them from the Kieran gang had stayed in Zephyr Lodge. Not even one of them set foot outside. What is the rascal up to? Autumn mused. Dustin had been doing everything he could to gather information and investigate the issue for the past few days. It was truly suspicious now that he suddenly stopped all activities. Keep your eyes on them at all times. Report back immediately once you have any information, Autumn instructed. Yes, sir. With that, the man turned and left. By the 3rd day, there was still no activity from the Kieran gang. They continued indulging themselves. They spent all their days either training or having fun. The atmosphere inside Zephyr Lodge was lively. They showed no sign that trouble was coming their way. When Autumn heard about that, he was even more confused. Damn it, has the rascal decided to give up on the investigation? Is it because he knows there's no way out for him? So he's decided to indulge himself one last time. Autumn frowned. The more he thought about it, the more he felt that something was off. From what he knew of Dustin, he wasn't someone who would give up so readily. He would not have been able to reach the level of grandmother otherwise. But if Dustin had not given up, why had there been no activities on his end for the past few days? Could he have found something out? Look into it. I want a thorough investigation. I'd like to see what he's up to. Autumn ordered yet again. On the 4th day, things went on as usual. The Kieran gang stayed inside Zephyr Lodge and enjoyed themselves. They didn't concern themselves with anything going on outside. To liven things up, they even invited song and dance troupes or comedic groups to sometimes perform for them. They truly lived their lives in a delightful manner. Because of the situation, Autumn was no longer able to stay calm. He began to lose his appetite and started overthinking things. Tomorrow was Dustin's deadline. Due to his guilty conscience, Autumn couldn't help but feel that Dustin was plotting something. "Sir, we found something." Right at that moment, one of Autumn's men came running in. "You found something." Autumn's eyes lit up. "Quick, tell me. What is it?" he urged. "According to our investigations, Dustin already has evidence to prove his innocence. He will reveal it to the public tomorrow morning." The person reported, "He's got evidence. How is that possible?" Autumn's expression grew grave. He had always been careful not to leave anything behind. So how could Dustin get any evidence then? Could this be a trap? "Are you sure about the information?" Autumn asked sternly. "I'm very sure." The man confidently confirmed. "I put in great effort to obtain the information and even verified it several times to make sure it was true. I'm sure that the information can't be wrong. I'll be in a lot of trouble if he really has evidence." Autumn's brows furrowed deeply. He would surely die a miserable death if anyone knew the truth behind the incident. "What do we do now, sir?" the man asked anxiously. "Do you know where they keep the evidence?" Autumn asked. "The Kieran Gang's House of Heroes has the strictest security. I bet that they've stored it there," the man answered. "Gather 2 troops of hidden guards at once. We'll break into the House of Heroes tonight," Autumn instructed. He would rather believe that Dustin really had evidence and act upon it while he could. This was a matter of life and death. He dared not take any chances. Regardless of whether the evidence was real, he would destroy it once and for all. That would set him at ease and give him peace. That night, most of the disciples from the Kieran Gang got themselves drunk in Zephyr Lodge, all except the patrol team. A group of 10 people in spy suits snuck their way in. They quickly searched everywhere in Zephyr Lodge. The group of 10 people moved around like ghosts. They made no sound when they landed, and their movements were quick and agile. They were hidden from plain sight. The Kieran Gang's patrol team noticed nothing amiss at all. The group of 10 was made up of the Hill family's strongest force, the Hidden Guards. Each one of them was extremely talented. All of them had also gone through rigorous training. They excelled in everything: assassination, undercover work, gathering information, and spying on enemies. There were 2 reasons why the Hill family was one of the tremendous 3, besides Paul Hill's identity as a grandmother. Another reason was due to the Hidden Guards. They had greatly contributed to eliminating all the Hill family's enemies. Here it is. After searching around, the Hidden Guards finally got to the House of Heroes. The House of Heroes had 2 groups of disciples guarding it at all times. The patrol team also passed by it often. The security around it was tight. The leaders of the 2 troops of Hidden Guards exchanged a look, and both lit up an incense. As the smoke rose, the 10 Hidden Guards held their breath and waited. The smoke, carried by the wind, soon wafted to the entrance of the House of Heroes. All it took were a few breaths, and the 2 groups of Kieran Gang disciples standing guard fell to the ground, unconscious. The patrol team passes by every 5 minutes. We need to hurry. The 10 Hidden Guards quickly snuck into the House of Heroes and began searching. The place was huge but empty. There were memorial tablets in the front and rows of benches in the center. Got it. 3 minutes later, one of the Hidden Guards found a secret compartment under one of the memorial tablets. There was a small black sachet in the compartment. After ensuring they had the right thing, they swiftly left and disappeared into the dark. Dustin and Cornelius were standing on the roof of the House of Heroes. They watched in silence as the Hidden Guards escaped. "Cerise, your prediction was right. The traitor from the Hill family could not hold out any longer," Cornelius exclaimed in awe.